Hi everyone, welcome to our OnRamp program. If you're working with us, then chances are you value your accounting and numbers, and I want to acknowledge that because so many people today do not. Most people do not have assets, their current liabilities exceed their liquidity, and most do not live within their means. And what that means is that most people today are not growing financially. And as I'll share with you in this program, it's not where we are today that's the issue. It's often where our focus is and where that focus is not. And look, I'll cover those concepts and definitions more in detail, but for now, suffice it to say that most people aren't investing time, money, and focus to handling their finances the right way. And the reason I want to acknowledge you is because you're actually doing it. In the next few weeks, we'll cover everything tax, accounting, and finance. Our goal, actually, is to give you a framework that you can use to tackle any money issue and that you can use to get from where you are now, point A, to where you're going, point B, whatever that may be. Look, I know that's ambitious, but I'd rather set out to drastically improve your life than to just handle your tax return and bookkeeping, which, by the way, we can still do. And the only way we can do that is if we empower you and give you some of the tools we use to handle 7- and 8-figure businesses. At the end of the day, what we want for you to take a page out of the Karate Kid is for you to come in as a white or yellow belt and leave as a green or blue belt. You don't need to know all the karate levels, just understand we want you to grow. We're not promising you that black belt. That takes years of doing it yourself and having the right coaching. It's actually something I'm personally still working on myself, but it is a drastic improvement to the intermediate or advanced level. The point is to give you the tools to solve your financial problems, to kick your debt, your accounting, or your tax in the butt. But okay, back to the program. I want to kick this program off by acknowledging why you value your numbers. And that's something that you yourself are going to have to answer. Because starting there is going to let you know where to build your financial, accounting, and tax muscle. Oftentimes, clients will come to us and say, look, I don't know anything, just fill me in on what I need to do and the best way to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that level of humility. But just understand, I can't just give you all the answers because I don't know which answers are going to work for you. You already have a history and a relationship with your numbers, and I need to meet you where you are. And that's why we start here. That is, answering why you think or feel numbers are important. Maybe it's a really positive reason. Maybe you've seen your 401k grow and you want to do the same with your business. In that case, we'll start off one way, focusing on momentum, high-level goal setting, and tracking. But maybe it's negative. Maybe you're going through something difficult, like a divorce. Maybe you're realizing for the first time how important your numbers are because you don't know what you're getting half of. And no bullshit, those are real situations. And if that's the truth, then we need to start somewhere else. We have to begin with what is true for you right now. This is true in sports, because you can't just ask a pro to tell you how to swing a club or how to shoot a half-court shot if you've never picked up a ball. They're so far ahead that any advice they're going to give you is going to be a solution to their last problem and not to the solution to your problem today. My point isn't that experts can't help. It's simply that tips are not going to be very helpful without an awareness of where you are today. How many of you think you have the same problems as an expert? The truth is you don't. Problems in my service business now with over 500 clients are going to be a lot different than someone just getting started. If you look at what I'm doing today as a service business, it's not going to be clear to you how to use that if you're just figuring out how to set up an entity and track your numbers. On Airbnb, I help clients that have 30, 40 properties who are doing 7 figures in bookings. The issues that they're dealing with are going to be irrelevant almost for a host who has 3 or 4. They're looking at automating their operations and tracking, not just getting it right. And I'm not here to knock the small business operator. I have 2 Airbnb investments myself. Now, have these larger clients solved their problems at 3 or 4 properties? The answer is yes. But if you look at what they're doing today, that's going to be vastly different from creating a foundation that's ready for growth because they're already there. So I've realized now that we've worked with small and big operators that we constantly need to meet ourselves where we are today. Like with my golf swing, I had to be very aware of the current issues, and then I needed the feedback and principles to improve it. Don't get me wrong, it's incredibly helpful to notice where the experts are playing to set goals, but in terms of what to do today, we need a different approach. So while you may want to rush through defining where you are now because you just want to get to the next level, let's start by taking a moment to just breathe and meet ourselves where we're at, because that's our point A, and that's what we're going to improve. No matter where your North Star is, where your point B is, we need to get clear on where we are today financially. So if you look at the handout that we've provided you, one of the first questions you'll see is, when did you realize that your numbers were important to you? And why are they important? The question is intentionally vague. Whatever comes to mind, write it down. So pause the video and write it now. Okay, so the second question I have is, what goals do you have for your business? This can be short-term, it can be long-term, it can be your biggest, largest dream, or it can be the greatest comeback ever staged. But again, whatever comes to mind, write it down. Okay, great. Hopefully you've gotten some big visions that we're going to work on together. So next, I want to reflect on a numbers question. And just taking a second here, it's important that we get as detailed as possible because we're going to compare this answer to this question a few weeks from now after we build some of that financial muscle we've been talking about. And you're going to be amazed at the difference. So here's the question. What needs to be true 12 months from now, financially, to know you're winning? What needs to be true 5 years from now to know you're winning? And just to give you some examples, this could be, I want enough saved for little Johnny's college tuition, or I want to go from one property to 30. It's up to you, but just be honest about what you really want and don't be shy. All right, so keep this handout close. We're going to come back to it and build on it. Remember, when it comes to meeting yourself where you are now, it's critical that we have a very clear sense of where we are, our point A, and also a very clear sense of where we're going, point B. And we have those two laid out. It's just a question of how to get from point A to point B. It's not rocket science. And if you have an epiphany after filling this out, come back to it and improve it. We want to get real. Until next time.